Yo, what's up, guys? W1. Today I'm talking about the future of the Philadelphia 76ers after they just ruled out Joel Embiid for the remainder of the season. Now, yesterday, Shams came out with this tweet around like 4. I made a video on this, like, quick and rapid, straight to the point on my TikTok if you guys want to see that. Just basically, it was the best decision possible. The Sixers season is lost. They have a top 6 protected first round pick. So if they are a bottom 6 team, they keep that pick. If they are not a bottom 6 team, that pick goes to, of course, the first round hoarders, the Oklahoma City Thunder with Sam Presti. Now, overall for the Sixers, this is supposed to be a title contending season for them. They had their trio: Joel Embiid, one of the best players in basketball; Tyrese Maxey, one of the best rising stars and number 2 option in all of basketball, and they had Paul George, who they presume was going to be one of the premier number 3 options in basketball, a two-way threat, a 3-level scorer, and he has been nothing even like remotely close to that. Paul George is in the midst of one of the worst seasons of his entire career, and whatever can go wrong is going wrong right now for the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, Maxey's been pretty good. He's not been as efficient maybe as you would want him. His 3-point shots went down from like 38 to 34%. So waiting for him to take that next leap playmaking wise. No, he's definitely gotten better as a playmaker this season. I definitely want to see something more out of that. Like trying to find the balance of, let me go get my shot or let me go get my guys involved. But for the most part, Maxey's been a really good bright spot for the 76ers this season. Now, let's get into the negative for the 76ers. Just looking at their offensive and defensive rating, they are just a catastrophic team. By offensive rating, they are 23rd at 110.8. So, not a good offense. Shocker. Don't have Embiid. Defensively as well, though, people definitely underrate Joel Embiid's defense. The 76ers this season have the 25th best defense in the NBA with a defensive rating of 115.5. And the minutes together, I was trying to find how many minutes they play together, the big 3 of Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, but I couldn't really find it, so I went over Pivot Fade. I sorted by like 50 minutes and I was looking at the lineups, and a couple of lineups came up. I'll go and show you guys, but they weren't really like the lineups I was really looking for. Like I was looking for a lineup of Tyrese Maxey. I was looking at a lineup of Maxey, Oubre, Paul George, maybe like Guerschon Yabusele, and Joel Embiid, which was at the end when Embiid came back. At points, Yabusele was playing the 4 when Embiid was out, and then at points he was playing the 5 when Embiid out, and obviously when he's fully healthy, Embiid, Yabusele is starting at the 4 because he's been like one of the best role players in the Joel Embiid era. It just sucks that, of course, Embiid is not healthy and Paul George is on his BS. And it's going undershadowed, but shout out to Guerschon Yabusele, definitely underrated. But I was looking at Pivot Fade and looking at his lineup right here, right at the bottom. Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Caleb Martin, Joel Embiid. Obviously, Caleb Martin's now on the Mavericks, traded away for Quentin Grimes. Very underrated move by Daryl Morey. Hopefully, with Sixers fans, they can go ahead and re-sign him, and also Guerschon Yabusele. They played 54 minutes. They have a net rating of -2.3, a plus minus of -7, offensive rating of 108, which is terrible. Defensive rating though was pretty good at 110.5, and yeah, so not really anything great so far. I do think that if they would have added like a Guerschon Yabusele, that would make them maybe go better like a little bit, but it's just semantics at the end of the day. At the end of the day, praise for Joel Embiid, but every quote I see of Embiid is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And the future is bleak for this team. I mean, you really have to bottom out and get that top 6 pick, because if you give OKC a top 10 pick with this core that they have, like, are we serious? This quote right here, Joel Embiid could undergo a meniscus replacement procedure, or a procedure where doctors break a bone in the hip to realign the joint and alleviate pressure. Like, that just sounds awful. And then a quote also came out today about like potentially the 76ers having to put something in motion with Joel Embiid if something were to happen over the next year. From Legion Hoops, 76ers could petition for a medical retirement for Joel Embiid if he's unable to play a year from now. At this point, an independent doctor selected by the NBA and NBPA would examine Embiid. If agreed he can no longer play, his remaining contract would be wiped off the books for the 76ers. That sounds like kind of like last year how they were talking about Zion Williamson and his weight concerns. Now Zion's back and it's bully. I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about the resurgence of Zion Williamson. Y'all were all there laughing at my boy Z. Now he's cooking. I don't hear a peep from y'all. So keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Yeah, man, it's a very, very bleak future. Paul George and Maxey this season have only played a combined 476 minutes together, and Paul George and Embiid have only played 577 minutes together. Mind you, there's 40 minutes in a game. Yeah, me 48. Neck 48, but they don't play all 48, so they might play like 40 games. So I guess 76ers this season, though, just looking at them, just quickly looking at the NBA standings real quick, just trying to see, like, you know, what they actually are in terms of the whole entire league. So right now they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they have the sixth worst record in all of basketball, 20-38, a 345 winning percentage. They are 1-9 in the last 10 games. They have lost 9 consecutive games, and they have a just hysterical amount of money being paid to this team to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. In the East, especially the play-in, it is so weak that if the 76ers got a healthy Joel Embiid, they would have easily made, like, they would have been the play-in. Like, they would have been over the Bulls. The Nets are in there right now, the Hawks, but they are so bad. They have the 6th worst record in the NBA right now, yet they are only 3 games behind the Bulls for the play-in spot. The Bulls are 12 games under 500. My brother in Christ, and they're in the play-in. Like, the East is so unserious. And you look at the West, the 10th, 30-28, Kings. 9th, 32-29 T-Wolves. Like, just the East is so unserious. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Now, for the 76ers, there's something to look forward to in the future. I mean, you're still going to try to develop a couple of guys, like, you know, just want to shout out a couple guys. Hopefully they can resign, like I mentioned earlier, Gershon Yabusele and Quentin Grimes for them. They still trying to develop a Dembona. They're trying to develop Ricky Council. All right, legend Jeff Dowd. I know 76ers fans, when he was in the rotation, they were really messing with my boy Jeff Dowden, but he's in and out of the rotation. So shout out to bro. Justin Edwards, the lefty out of Kentucky, shout out to him. They just signed JHS to a two-way contract. Shout out to JHS. Hopefully he can blossom with them. Jerry McCain, obviously he's either going to be the starting 2 guard with Tyrese Maxey, or he's going to be one of the premier 6 mans in the league. And then you can go ahead and they just signed Lonnie Walker as well to I believe like a 1-year like veteran minimum contract. Shout out to Lonnie Walker. Hopefully he can cement himself back into the NBA. He has a good amount of potential, so hopefully he can go on his like Gershon Yabusele tour for these last remaining games for the 76ers. So definitely a season where they're taking a lot of flyers. They just signed, what was it, like Alex Reese. They have like David Roddy on the team. Just signing a bunch of players, and hopefully they can blossom with them, because this has been just a terrible season for the 76ers. But there's some development that you can do. Obviously, they wish they had Jerry McCain so you can develop even more with Tyrese Maxey, and probably end up winning the probably winning the. He definitely would have been in the running for 6th man of the year, but he definitely would have won 6th man of the year. I mean, he was just absolutely insane. Let me just quickly look at Jerry McCain real quick, and then I'll get into Paul George, Joel Embiid, and also Tyrese Maxey. But McCain, he was just really efficient. I remember watching him from Duke, and I knew he was a really good scorer, but he came into the league, dude, he was insane. Like, shout out to my dog. He's averaging 15, 2 and 2 on almost 59% shooting and 38% from 3 on almost 6 attempts per game. He's like, just looking at the shot chart, it was just absolutely beautiful. He was a phenomenal 3-point shooter, 39.6% mid-range. Not really a big part of his game, but 53%. Non-paint rim shots, 48%. Really good from the right corners, 38.5%. Not really from the left. something he probably has to work on. 5 of 17. Not the rim. He's a smaller guard. He's pretty decent in transition, but only 58%. So it's a couple of things he has to work on, but his main thing is obviously shooting, and he is a premier shooter, especially from the break. So that's what you absolutely love to see from him. Now, Paul George, aka PodcastP, I mean, he has just been super inefficient. This is not the Paul George we expected at all. Signed like a $200 million contract, making over like 50, 55, 60, whatever $million a season. Just has been an absolute just albatross of a contract. Averaging only 16 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists a game on a paltry, and I mean paltry, 54.5% true shooting percentage in the 36th percentile. Shooting almost 36% from 3, which is fairly above league average on over 6.5 attempts per game. Only getting to the line once again, really, he's only averaging 2 free throw attempts per game. Now, he is getting close to 2 steals per game, so that's one of the caveats of Paul George's game is, even though he's not supposed to be like a role player, but if his offense is not there, I mean, he's still a good defender. Remember, people forget he shoot at the peak of his powers as an MVP candidate and a DPOI candidate to the Clippers previously with the Thunder. So that's something you always have with Paul George. I'm not saying that all defense is equated to steals, because you can average, like, De'Aaron Fox and SGA are not the 2 best defenders on their teams, but they average the most steals in the NBA, like, what, last season? Like, they just have a high IQ. They know how to read certain plays. So that's something that I don't think I'll flail with Paul George's game, is his ability to get steals. I mean, he's definitely a high IQ player defensively. Now, offensively, he has his blunders, but defensively, he's always going to be, like, for the most part, pretty rock solid. Now, Embiid, he's definitely a far cry from his MVP self this season. But he definitely did look like at least like a top 15 player in the league, I would say. Averaging almost 24 points a game, 8 rebounds, 4.5 assists, basically a block a game, 58% true shooting, not close to last season, which he was in like the 91st percentile at 64.4%. Just absolutely just video game numbers, just absolutely insane. Shooting about 30% from 3, definitely something that needs to improve. Get into the line as usual, almost 8 attempts per game, shooting 4 threes a game. Just really, his 3-point shot, he's not shot any corner 3-point shot this season. He's literally only shot above the break, which, as I always mention on the channel, above the break threes from the top of the key, especially for centers, is a great shot. Miles Turner feeds off them, not only shooting top of the key, but he's also pretty decent in the wings as well. Not pretty decent, he's actually a premier 3-point shooter. I give Miles Turner credit. As a Heat fan, the way he was torching us yesterday with those threes, thank God we won. Shout out to my boy Davion Mitchell. That man is an absolute dog. Doug Corrales, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, my dog. Shout out to bro. And then Maxey's averaging 27, 3, and 6 assists a game. Also, like Paul George, averaging a 1.8 steals per game, 57% true shooting, and 34%. They definitely needs to improve in terms of that. Shooting close to 9.5 attempts, getting to the line, not getting to the line, but averaging 5.1 free throw attempts per game this season. Pretty decent. Nothing out of the ordinary for Maxey. I mean, he's definitely had a lot on his shoulders this season with Paul George and Embiid missing time, and him really having to, put up a ton of shots. And what comes with that at points is just inefficient games. Like, I'm talking about, like, super inefficient. Like, this is why, like, he needs to find the balance between, should I put up 30 shots a game, or should I put up a cool, like, 20 to 22 and pass out of that? So, yeah. Before I get off, though, let me just quickly look and see what Tyrese Maxey this season, his potential assist star. So, Tyrese Maxey this season with the Philadelphia 76ers is averaging 10.5 potential assists per game. And Paul George is 7.8 and Embiid's at 7.6. So, hey, he is having the most of his career, I want to say. When I look at last season's potential assists, 11.1. So, no, he's actually down from last season. How about 2022? That's when they had Harden, so it was only at 6.4. So yeah, so definitely want to see more playmaking out of Tyrese Maxey, but for the most part, he's definitely improved as a playmaker, and he's trying to hold it down for the 76ers, even though that's literally impossible. all their injuries. But the future is bleak. There's a couple of guys like Justin Edwards, you know, a couple of guys. You have to keep that top 6 pick, because if you don't, it's over. It's quite literally over for the 76ers. Embiid's not a guy you can rely on anymore. You have to hope and pray that this isn't the worst that you see of. You have to hope that this isn't the best that you see of Paul George, and that Maxey can continue to take leaps, both playmaking wise and offensively, and Jared McCain next season come back and be the same McCain we saw this season, if not better. Yeah, 76ers, man. How do you guys feel about all of this? This just absolutely. So I was just watching Mean Girls yesterday. This kind of feels like when Regina got hit by that bus. Like, that's tough. Like, from where you went on with this season, signing Paul George, Embiid, them at the NBA Finals, and Embiid kind of like looking at it with the side eye because he wants them on the 76ers, and then all of this happens, and then PodcastP retiring from podcasting for the time being, or taking a temporary break. It's just an absolute circus right now with Philadelphia. At least the Eagles want a ring for y'all, so there's that. Yeah. Other than that, y'all, that is the video. So go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up to all of my channels. Links to them will all be in the description box down below. NBA channel right here, NFL, MLB, WNBA, IRL, gaming, a movie and TV show reviews, and my IRL channel. Links to those will always be in the description box down below. But other than that, it's your boy John. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm out, man. Peace.